Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Kettles, and I want to thank you for joining Daily Ride Dedications tonight as part of Texas 4000 for Cancer's 2020 Summer Ride, presented by Abbott. At Texas 4000, before every ride, we take a moment to remind ourselves why our mission to fight cancer is so important by making ride dedications for those that we ride in honor or in memory of. And we invite others to share a ride dedication for those that they love who have had their lives touched by cancer so that we may ride for them too. Ride dedications serve to fuel us each day in our journey and let us know that we are not alone, that so many people's lives and the lives of you can share a ride.
Texas 4000 is the largest annual charity bike ride that takes place every summer from Austin to Anchorage, Alaska, with the purpose of spreading our mission of hope, knowledge, and charity in the fight against cancer. A ride dedication is a way that we start a lot of our meetings or a lot of our rides. This is when we dedicate a ride or a part of our ride to somebody who has been in some way affected by cancer.
A ride dedication is motivation to me because when I'm going up a steep hill or it's been a really long ride, the ride dedications that I hear from my teammates and myself are the reasons that I keep riding.
Due to the current circumstances surrounding COVID-19, it's no longer safe for us to do our typical bicycle ride from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska. So instead, we've decided to do things virtually this summer.
So we will be having our cycling events virtually. We will be engaging with our community virtually.
A virtual ride dedication works largely the same way as a normal ride dedication. Before every meeting or before every virtual ride, you would say, I ride for this person. And if you want to, you can go into a little bit more detail about how that person touched your life.
You can submit your ride dedications via 3 different platforms. You can submit a ride dedication via the Texas 4000 webpage. You can join our Facebook live stream, or you can join our Zoom calls.
The virtual ride will be going on from May 29th to June 26th, and ride dads will be held before host interactions in the afternoon and at 7:30 to 8 a.m. Central Time every morning.
Thank you so much for participating.
Join us at texas4000.org. Together we can make a difference.
Wonderful. So you can share a ride dedication on the Facebook Live broadcast at any time during this half hour or in the full hour cycling broadcast we have coming up after this. And for those of you who are on Zoom, write your name in the chat and you'll be called upon to make your ride dedication, or feel free to write your ride dedication in the chat and one of our writers will read it aloud. So I think I'd like to welcome in some of the Ozarks riders who are going to be joining us for ride dedications this evening into the broadcast. Hi.
Hi. Hello. Hi, Sarah.
Welcome. How are y'all doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Excited to kick this off.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Of course. As you all know, I'm an alum of this organization and I love it very much. I rode back in 2013 and I'm really excited to participate in Ride Dads with you this evening. Peyton, I kind of want to kick it off with you. Would you be willing to share a ride dedication?
Sure, yeah, that sounds great. So I'm Peyton, by the way. So I have a special ride dedication today because we had the chance to actually meet with some folks from Mercy Health in Paducah, Kentucky today. And we got to get on a call with them and visit, and they shared with us how they spent their grant that we granted them last year. They told us about their survivorship program and how some of the money that we've raised in the past has gone to that. So I'm just writing for all of them, and then for everyone that really got to benefit from that grant too. I think it's a really great program. So writing for them.
Wonderful. Ashka, would you like to share one next?
Yeah, as you know, a lot of the high school class of 2020 has been graduating lately. And I was just thinking about my high school days when I was watching my current high schoolers graduating. And I thought about my English professor. His name is Dr. Yost, and he had cancer when I was in high school. And I don't know very much about it, but I know that when I went back to visit the school last year and I told him that I'm doing T4K, he really wanted to talk to me about T4K, and he shared a little bit more about his experience. And so I'm writing for Dr. Yost, who is truly one of my favorite English teachers.
That's awesome. Thank you. What about you, ma'am?
Hi, I'm Miley, and today I want to be writing for all the people that would have hosted us this summer. Like Peyton said, we got to have a really awesome conversation with a hospital in Paducah, Kentucky, and just meeting them and meeting so many other people in the past few weeks has made me so thankful for the people that really care for us and rally around us when we go through their towns. It's just so, they say it's meaningful, but it's so meaningful for us, even though we're not going to get to physically be with them this summer, that people are rallying around what we're doing, even when it's virtual. So I'm going to be writing for them, and then also writing for my friend Maria's friend, my friend Maria's father, Jim, and my friend Sophia's father, Jeff.
Thank you for sharing, Miley. I'd like to ride tonight, I think, for the original reason I even applied for Texas 4000 back in 2011. It's a woman who I consider to be my second mother. Her name is Sue Donovan, and she was diagnosed with cancer when I was a freshman in high school. And I remember that experience being like pretty confusing. I think it's hard to understand what's going on when somebody you love and care about, an adult, is really struggling with something that you don't really understand. And she passed away about a year before I decided to apply for Texas 4000. And she was like the push I needed to give that a go. So I'd like to ride for her tonight.
Well, I'll be riding for Sue Donovan.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Any ride dedications popping up in Zoom?
Let me check in and passing them along.
Cool. I'm sure you all have had some really memorable ride dedication circles with your team. There are a few that certainly stick out to me from my time with my team, and I'm curious if you would be willing to share of a ride dedication circle or a moment with your team that really stands out to you. Any one of y'all?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that stands out. One singular one isn't coming to my brain right now, but right when the ride got canceled, I live pretty close to the CPE, which is where we meet every morning before Saturday rides and before any weekday ride. And I just went to the CPE because it's become such a special place, I think, for all of us, where I kind of associate it with like vulnerability and relationships and friendships that I'll have forever. And so I think just the space of being there at 6:30 a.m., really tired, but really excited everyone's just so excited to be there. We might be kind of complaining because we're freezing or, complaining because we're tired, but everyone's just so thankful to be there and thankful to have the opportunity to ride with one another and for our loved ones. I just think that image I'll never forget, of us just all standing in a circle, kind of like binding together and being vulnerable. It's so cool. It's such a cool experience.
Yeah, being vulnerable is a really hard thing to do, and ride dedications are a great place to practice. Looks like we've got.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be riding for them. Thank you so much for sharing.
Hi, Tony.
Thanks for sharing, Tony.
Okay, one did come to mind for me.
Yeah.
But for me, like one of my, I think the most memorable ride dedication circles was actually at our training camp. That was the first time that like it felt like we were like actually doing this, because we were on our bikes and we were biking more than like 10 miles. And that was really exciting. But I remember that first day we all gathered in our ride dedication circle, but instead of just being our 2020 team, we had some 2019 alumni there too. And then we also had our wonderful coaches that every year they come and they dedicate their time to help us get really comfortable on the bike. So I think that was a really special moment because we got to hear about what brings them to training camp every year too to help us out. So that was definitely my favorite.
Yeah, the ride dedications, like when you're actually out on the bike, they really are the fuel that you need, I think, to get through the toughest parts of the ride, for sure. Anything that stands out to you, Ashka?
Yeah, for me, I think, firstly, like, thank you, Michelle, for the ride ded. We will be riding for Sierra. And congratulations that you beat cancer this week. Yeah, my most memorable ride ded circle was the last one we had when we did our 80 miles to Buc-ee's. I personally had been like really struggling with biking this semester. As my bike's on the wall, I'm like not ready to go right now because I had a shoulder injury. But I was like ready to go on my bike, and I personally like my Y ride. I just feel like it's not as strong of a connection as some other people have had. So I really depend on like the energy of the group to motivate me to bike when it gets really difficult. And on that last ride dead circle, I was just so enthusiastic about being there with the team because I hadn't biked in a while. And I remember like Emmy Merriman is one of the riders I really look up to. She is just like so incredibly fit. And whenever I biked with Emmy, I think she's made me feel really strong out there. The way that she like motivates me and like sings to me sometimes. And she gave a ride dad and shared a really personal experience she'd been through. And so I was thinking about Emmy and I was thinking about the team as a whole and the fact that like I wouldn't have gotten as far as I did without them. And I guess I didn't realize that was going to be our last Saturday ride when that happened. But that's like the day that stands out to me most.
Those are wonderful stories. Thanks for sharing, y'all.
Scott, thank you for your ride, then. We'll be riding for Uncle Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. So throughout the year, I know you guys are out panhandling, you're volunteering in the community, meeting lots of people. Any ride dedications that stand out from the folks that you've met throughout your experience in Texas 4000?
I have one because I was definitely a big panhandler. That's how I did raise a lot of my money and I actually really learned how, to enjoy it and everything. I remember one time, I don't remember the specific name, but we were out there, we were on the corner of, it was BK's and 360. Love that intersection. People there are always so friendly. And this car pulled up and rolled down his window and stuff and started talking to us and kind of sharing the reason why he really likes Texas 4000 if he comes to Atlas every single year and he rides with us. So I think that was a really special moment because I really got to see how far like Texas 4000's reach goes. So really thankful for people like that.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I have two really fun experiences while panhandling. So I was on panhandling in Houston with Mira Souza, NIL, and Alex Miller. And I was with Alex, and this car like came by and rolled on his window and we talked to him, and he donated like I think $5 or something. And then we saw the car like go and make a U-turn and circle around and pull into the Wells Fargo, which was like behind us. And he went in and withdrew cash from the ATM and then gave us more money and like came up to us and talked about his brother who was fighting cancer. It just meant so much to me that like clearly he was like on his way going somewhere, but he would make the effort to like turn his car around and go into a Wells Fargo and get money and give that to us and share his story with us. And it was really hot as Houston is, and so we were getting very discouraged, but that really just gave us so much hope. And then my favorite panhandling story is, again, I was with Alex Miller, Ray Schaefer, and Chris Kowalowitz. And Chris and I were at the intersection of 6th and Lamar near Whole Foods. And we were just like getting our poster and like heading to find a good intersection when this woman with a young child came up to us. And she was like, hey, like, tell my kid about Texas 4000. And I was kind of like, I want to go to the corner and panhandle. But we were like, okay, like, this is what T4K is about. We talked about the biking to Alaska and the raising money. And she then pulls out her phone and is like, can you share your names with us? And so I was like, okay, sure, like, odd. We did. And we wished them a good day. She then said, I love Texas 4000 and everything you do. I was like, thank you. We panhandled. We had a really great day and met so many people. And then that evening, I got an email from Everyday Hero, and she donated to our page, to me and to Chris, and it was a very large amount of money. And we called each other and cried. And then we like bought a bunch of chocolates and flowers and drove out to her house, which was like an hour away. But that just meant so much to me that she like ran up to the side of the street and stopped us to talk to us, and then donated without us having to like reach out and ask her. And I really felt like all the stories I hear about community engagement and about the way that like we touch complete strangers' lives, that really stuck with me that day, because she certainly didn't have to like, track us down or take down our names or like make the effort to go back 10 hours later and donate. But she did that. And I was just very inspired by that. Sorry for the very long response.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Thanks, Sia. We're definitely going to be riding for your friend Mark and his grandmother.
Love you, Sia.
Riding for Jose Cauchi.
We'll be ready for him, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. Ashka, yeah, I feel like those connections with complete strangers, especially through something like Texas 4000, just really speak to the power of the cancer community and how much it's like once you know somebody in your life affected by cancer, you never really leave this community. It's a really special place and we take care of each other. I wanted to share another ride dedication tonight. I'm set up in my guest room. Oops, the opposite way. I can't do the camera thing. But this jersey behind me is a jersey of it's the 2010 team's jersey. And my fiance, Brett, we didn't necessarily meet through Texas 4000, but he was on the 2010 team. And his jersey behind him is signed by all of his teammates. And I think it's such a special thing that we have in our house. And this year is the 10th anniversary of his ride. And his team had a big old reunion call last weekend. I think he stayed up to like 2 a.m. on Zoom with them. And I just want to ride for the 2010 team and their anniversary year this year.
Thanks for sharing.
That is so special.
We'll definitely be riding for them too.
Thank you. Yeah, make sure you say that again.
Speaking of alumni, I had another ride, Dad, but sorry for interrupting you. Finish what you were saying.
No, please go ahead. Let's hear the ride, Jen.
I think like after hearing that our ride has been canceled, I don't think like teams are particularly close with each other like year by year because we don't train together. But I've seen so much support from the 2019 team, like whether it's been like today I had a care package delivered to me with like bike tubes and cleaning supplies and also like energy like shot pills, whatever they're called, and like things that they would have mail dropped us during the ride, but they like delivered it to my apartment, which was just really sweet with like love letters that were just very motivating. And like the alumni from 2019 and previous teams have been like helping us get trainers so that everyone can bike at home. And I think just seeing that support like all the previous years really does motivate me to keep the mission going from my living room.
Yes.
That is wonderful. I know I lead the alumni council as a part of the organization, and there's almost 1,000 of us in that group now. And I know all of us are, we were pretty devastated for you and for your team when the ride needed to be canceled, but of course understand the very reasonable things that we need to watch out for. But we're just incredibly inspired. And I think that your team has really brought alumni back to the organization in a way that's just been really special. So I think you all are equally as special and wonderful for helping us sort of mobilize with you all. And there's been plenty of ride dedication shared from alumni specifically for your team, and just how inspiring it is that you're continuing to pursue the mission in the midst of all of the uncertainty that 2020 has brought us.
I think one of the coolest things was this sounds so weird, but one of my favorite nights of Texas 4000 was the night that it got canceled. Obviously, I'm hysterically crying. I'm so emotional. I'm always emotional, but I was especially emotional that night. But I just felt like something in our team was just like, okay, this is so hard, but it almost brought us together more, or it definitely brought us together more. And I think everyone just kind of decided, okay, like we're going to do this. The mission, we joined this for the mission, and the ride's not happening, but that doesn't mean the mission stops. And so it's been really hard, especially like kind of the cornerstone days, like day 0 and day 1 when you're supposed to be leaving. But it's also just been a really special experience.
Yeah. I know one of the skills that you all work on learning and cultivating as part of the leadership development program is resilience. And I feel like resilience is one of those skills or qualities that people have that's not necessarily very visible all of the time. And that moment that you were talking about, Miley, when you were like, okay, this is happening, I'm going to gear up and get ready to go. I felt like that was a moment for me where I could physically see resilience like tangibly in the world through your team. And it was pretty powerful. And I feel like a real testament to not only the mission and your team's commitment to the mission, but also to the leadership development program that you all have been a part of for the last 18 months.
Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely so much of having a team that's doing it with you is so important. And I was talking to one of my teammates about this, how life is hard. Like everyone has hard lives in some way. And most of the most disappointing things you go through alone. And it's really special that this is a really, really disappointing thing in our life, but we're not in it alone. Like we're all in it together. And that's really powerful, because if I think about the hardest times in my life thus far, it's usually things that I'm going through alone. But this, I have like 80 teammates to do it with.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's what makes ride dedication so special, right? Because you're doing it together. It's a community effort to uplift the lives of those who've been affected by cancer. And with that, we actually have just a few minutes left for ride dedications before we send you all off to get on your bikes. So if anybody watching has a ride dedication, please pop that in the Facebook Live broadcast, and we'd be happy to recognize and ride for your loved one. What do y'all have planned for your ride this evening? You gonna ride hard? Take a chill pill? It's Friday.
Yeah, I remember it was last Friday's ride. I definitely I was doing the Zwift for the ride, and the speed sensor wasn't necessarily always picking it up, so I just kept pedaling like really, really hard because I wanted it to look like I was going faster than 3 miles an hour. And then when it finally did pick up, I was going like 25, and by the end of that ride, I was definitely exhausted.
That's so funny.
Building some endurance there.
It was a good ride though, much needed.
25 miles an hour. Oh my gosh.
Last Friday, I actually rode outdoors because one of our Ozarks teammates doesn't have a trainer, and it's always safer to like ride with another person in case something goes wrong. And so we went and did some loops around Shoal Creek, which was the first ride that we ever do at Texas 4000. And I realized that I actually did my first ride ever with her. And so this was very like emotional for us to be out there together and think about the fact that we were going to ride together every day of the summer. But yeah, last Friday was a much needed ride for me to just like reconnect with the people on this team and take a trip down memory lane.
Sarah, have you ridden on the new Shoal? Or it's not new, but in the last year they've really like added all these bike lanes, and it's so awesome. It makes training feel, especially when we had to not train with people for a little bit, it just was really safe.
Yeah, I have done that route on Shoal Creek, and I did that a bunch just for the long sprints on a flat ground when I was training for my Ironman. And I saw lots of Texas 4000 riders out that year when I was doing that, and it was fun.
You've done an Ironman?
Yeah, this is what will happen to you when you do Texas 4000. It's just you get into going long distance.
Doing hard things.
Yeah, doing hard things.
Wow. I've been looking at like triathlons in Austin, like after hopefully like when it becomes safe to participate in like group events like this again. I'm gonna try my best to do like a baby triathlon and then build my way up.
Amrit will be riding for your friend that passed away from cancer. We're so sorry to hear that.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you, Amrit. Yeah, you should absolutely get into triathlons. They're really fun. It's been hard to swim. I still do triathlons occasionally, and the pools have been closed lately. But now that open water swimming is becoming a thing, that's back and just in time for summer. So that's great.
Yes.
I really struggle with running, but I think that's gonna be like my next, the next like hurdle I try and overcome.
Love it. Just a few minutes left before we send you all off on your bikes. Any ride dedications from the three of you?
I have one more ride dedication. No, okay. Yeah, so today I want to be riding for my grandpa. I mentioned him earlier. He's a big reason why I ride. I'm just really thinking of him today. I was talking to my mom the other night, and we were talking just about my grandparents and stuff. So I'm really thinking of them today. He passed away a little over 2 years ago from cancer. So yeah, writing for him, and then also for my grandma. Always writing for her. She really is just one of the strongest people I know. So.
Thank you, Emily.
All right, y'all. I want to, Ashka, Peyton, Miley, thank you so much for joining me this evening and sharing your ride dedications for those you love, whose lives have been touched by cancer. We're going to continue to ride for you, those you love, and for a cancer-free world. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Please stay tuned for our live broadcast of indoor cycling with these three and more of the 2020 team, which will start shortly. Remember, you can make a ride dedication or donate to Texas 4000 to support the fight against cancer by visiting texas4000.org at any time. And we want to thank again our presenting sponsor, Abbott, and to all of our sponsors of the 2020 Summer Ride. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Welcome back to Texas 4000 for Cancer's 2020 Summer Ride Cycling broadcast presented by Abbott. My name is Sarah Kettles, and I'm your host for tonight. I'm really excited to be here along with riders from the Ozarks route. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time this evening, Texas 4000 for Cancer is a nonprofit organization that cultivates student leaders and engages communities in the fight against cancer. The organization's cornerstone event is an annual 4,000 plus mile bike ride from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska. The 78 members of the 2020 team had been preparing and training for their life-altering cross-country summer bike ride for 18 months. And due to COVID-19, they were forced to make the heartbreaking decision to cancel the 2020 ride to Alaska. The pandemic may have brought our world to a standstill, but cancer rages on, and so the ride must go on virtually. For the month of June, this team is riding to Alaska virtually, and I'm really inspired by the individuals on this team. They've shown tremendous courage and creativity throughout this time. I'm here to MC tonight's broadcast. My name is Sarah Kettles. I'm a board member with Texas 4000, but I'm also an alumni of the organization. I was the ride director on the Rockies route in 2013, and I'm really excited to be joined tonight by some members of the Ozarks route. Please post your comments and questions in the Facebook Live broadcast all this evening. I'll be relaying them to the riders as we go along. And let's go ahead and get started with some introductions as to who's with us tonight. So Ashka, I'd love to start with you. Let's just go around and share names, what you're studying in school, how far along you are, and a fun memory from your last 18 months as part of Texas 4000.
My name is Ashka. I am a rising senior studying neuroscience, health and society, and Plan 2. My favorite memory in the past 18 months, I think there are a couple that really stand out, but one that just like warms my heart every time I think about it is Ozarks Valentine's Day. It's the only time we've ever gotten to use our tent for the summer. Miley, who's on this call, is supposed to be my tent mate for the whole summer, and we got this like huge tent that's bigger than the four of us needed, but we wanted to make sure that it worked and that we knew how to pitch the tent to not embarrass ourselves at spring break camp. So we pitched the tent in my living room on the day after Valentine's Day and invited everyone on Ozarks, and we all crowded in the tent and played games together. And that was just really nice to have my team in my tent together once.
So wonderful. Thank you, Joyce. We are also cheering for your beautiful granddaughter, Avery. Miley, what about you?
Hi, I'm Miley. I just graduated from UT with a degree in biochem.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. We did it. I have it's so hard to think of memories. I mean, to think of one singular memory. I think, and we talked about this earlier, but the Buc-ee's ride was really special, and I think that everyone really enjoyed it so much, and we just all have so much fun together, and I laugh more with these people than I feel like I've ever laughed in my life. They're just so funny, and it's so hard to bike when you're laughing hard. It is so you like can barely keep your hands on. But I remember laughing so much that time or that ride, and then that just being our last all team group ride, Saturday ride. I'll remember it forever. It was the best.
It's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Woo! Hey, Tony.
So my name's Peyton. I just graduated from with a degree in biology.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, like Miley said, it's hard to pick one favorite memory. I served as the travel chair for Ozarks, and so a big role in my rotation was coordinating the summer travel plan. So I think that was associated with a lot of my favorite memories. Probably also like my biggest source of stress in the 18 months, but I think one of my favorite memories was actually getting to reveal the route to the team. That was a really special day. And there's just, I was really nervous leading up to it, and then just like the response we got from the route it was really exciting. It was definitely one of those moments where this whole thing felt a little bit more real because we knew where we could go.
Yeah, I remember sharing with my team routes to big reveal. Very exciting day. Yes, go Peyton. Thanks, Brenda.
Go Peyton. Yeah, Peyton, you did an amazing job on our route. Our route's definitely the best. Definitely the best.
It is.
Without a doubt.
I feel like that's actually a little known fact about Texas 4000, unless you're kind of in on the details of this organization, that you all are actually not part of a route until pretty far into the process. How far or how long are you just one team before you split off into those routes? And all three of you are on Ozarks. Tell me a little bit about, did you prep Ozarks? What about the route really drew you to it?
Yeah. So we got our route assignments in October, I want to say. And I definitely prepped Ozarks. I think I was known for very aggressively prepping Ozarks. I actually wrote a 4-paragraph essay about why I could only be on Ozarks, and I put it as my first, second, and third choice. The Ozarks ride director, I think, rolled his eyes about that. But anyway, I really wanted Ozarks because, to me, I know everyone sees the mission a little bit differently, and to me, it was really about engaging with hosts and communities and hospitals. And Ozarks, just because of where we're going, it lets me stay with hosts almost every night and build these relationships and learn about why other people ride or why they host us. And I really, that was very meaningful to me.
Yes, I prepped Ozarks as well. I had absolutely no chill. I'm usually pretty go with the flow, and wherever I'm supposed to be, I'll be. And with that, I was like, no, I am supposed to be on Ozarks. I know I'm supposed to be on Ozarks. And I just felt really called there. And so similar to Oxbow, just the route and the part of America it goes through, I just knew I was supposed to be on Ozarks.
So I actually did not prep the route. Yeah, there's only a couple people I think that did that. Funny story. The night before the route preferences were due, I had Ozarks prep last, and something about it, I know. something about something changed that night, and I just decided that like it didn't matter which route I was on. I knew I was still going to connect to the mission, and I ended up switching, and I'm so glad I did because I could not see myself anywhere else but Ozarks. So really thankful for that.
Yeah. My team in 2013 was actually the first team to have the Ozarks route. So the folks on 2013 who went Ozarks were like truly pioneers. And I did not pref a route, and I ended up on Rockies, but I feel the same affinity towards it. It was just meant to be, and I feel like I just trusted the universe to make that happen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brenda will be writing. Oh, sorry. It's so hard to know when people are talking on here. But thank you, Brenda. We'll be writing for Adeline.
Thanks, Brenda. And I know we've been talking a little bit about the route. We actually have two more, maybe more of your teammates who've joined us on Zoom this evening, cycling along with you. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Guys.
Ashka, could you point out who else on your team is cycling with us this evening?
Yeah, can y'all put your faces up? Thank you. Perfect. Sorry, it's been a minute since I've seen my teammates. That's awkward. So we have Grayson Magia, who's our fearless ride director.
Hey, Grayson.
And then we have Grayson Ewing, who who's pedaling. And then Josh.
Awesome.
But he's the one on the bottom screen.
Love it.
He's going at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here we go, Yash.
If you're just joining us on the Facebook Live broadcast, please submit your questions for the riders and any encouraging comments you have through the chat on Facebook. Or you can even hop along or hop on your stationary bike and join the riders for tonight's ride. But we'll be answering questions for this whole hour. And of course, encouraging the 2020 team to continue on and continue fighting cancer throughout the rest of June. So we're going to keep on rolling here. In this last half hour I spent with you all, we were sharing ride dedications that you all had and that the community had for us. And I didn't ask you all, why did you decide to join Texas 4000? What's that route mission for you?
I can go first. I talked about it a little bit before. My grandfather was a big reason why I decided to join. Just because battle with cancer and everything. My grandparents weren't very open about it at the beginning, and by the time the rest of the family did find out, we have a lot of time left with him. So that was a big reason why I did join Texas 4000, was to kind of learn how to have that dialogue with my loved ones. And I'm really grateful because I think I have. It's really taught me how to be vulnerable and talk about those things. I've been able to share that with my family a lot. So I'm really thankful for that. Another big reason why I ride is for my dad. He passed away my senior year of high school. It wasn't cancer related, but it obviously had a really big impact on me. And biking was something that actually just really connected us. You know, he taught me how to ride a bike, and we would spend all our weekends and all our summers doing that when I was little. So definitely riding.
Thanks for sharing, Peyton.
We're riding for Eric and Noah, who was on 2010 and is currently fighting cancer again.
Thanks, Brett. That's my partner, Brett.
Aww.
My like original reason for applying and joining Texas 4000, I think like the bigger reason was that I just saw this as an org that does so much good in the world, and a group of people who, like, it just inspired me that college age students who, like, a lot of us are thinking about ourselves and our like school and internships would take this kind of time off and bike to Alaska to spread hope and to raise money. And it just looked like something so good that I wanted to be a part of. My like thought there was that if I can do something good in the world, I should. And then I started thinking about people I know who've been affected by cancer. When I was in elementary school or early middle school, there was a 4-year-old girl whose parent was my teacher, and I watched a lot of her fight against cancer. And then I remember when my grandmother had breast cancer, I wasn't particularly close to her because she lived in Scotland and we were in Malaysia at the time. And so like traveling home to see her was really hard, and so I wasn't actually around for like any of her treatment. But I've heard a lot of stories from my grandfather and from my dad about how like, through everything she was always like laughing and smiling. And hearing these kind of stories made me feel really connected to the mission and feel like I like could belong on this team. And so I turned in an application and hoped that I'd get in.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Ashka. Miley, what about you?
Yes. So actually, some of my best friends in the whole entire world were on 2019, and I had a lot of really good friends that were on 2018 as well. And it was always something I was like, oh, they're so amazing. That's so cool. And just, I'm so proud of them for doing a really hard thing, but I never really thought about it. That was just not on my radar at all. And then the summer after my sophomore year, I did a research fellowship with the Livestrong Cancer Institutes over at Dell Medical School. And in a non-dramatic way, my life was kind of changed. It was so, I guess maybe a dramatic, I don't know. It was so eye-opening, and I knew that I wanted to go into medicine. I knew that was what I wanted to do, but I had never really thought about oncology, and seeing that field and just the hope that was there was just so, I just had never experienced anything like it. And especially what they're doing over at the Livestrong Cancer Institutes, they just are really changing the game for what cancer care looks like. And so I came back to, I think that was my junior year. So I came back and the fellowship was over, but I still wanted to be involved in kind of the cancer fighting world in some way. And I was like, okay, well, Texas 4000 is on campus. No, like, if I was supposed to do that, I would have done it when my friends did it. You know, that's just not, no. And then it was actually the night that the application was due. I was like, okay, this is, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to apply at least. And it has been so awesome. I've learned so much. I've learned so much about myself, and just being part of, when you hear the word cancer, you just don't think of hope. That's just not the word that usually comes to mind. But in every organization I've been involved in with cancer, it's the most hope I've ever seen and experienced, which is just such a cool thing that doesn't really make sense. And so I'm so glad I applied. I'm so glad I joined. And also it's like, it was really cool for me that I didn't do it when all my friends did it. And it was kind of this thing where, like, I was supposed to be on this exact team. I wasn't supposed to be on any other team. And it's just been so special.
Yeah. It's funny how things work out like that.
Yeah.
Miley, you brought up the application process, and there's a piece of that I actually feel like is really a special part of this organization, the alumni. And as you all, continue your summer and then go off to become Texas 4000 alumni, you'll get to be part of this too. But we actually get to review all of the applications that come in and be part of the process of picking the next team. And it's a snowball process, but every alumni has the opportunity to get involved and select future teams. And I just really love that we have an organization that has built such a strong foundation and continues to cultivate really great leaders and bring really great people into the organization as well. So thanks for sharing.
So cool.
Miley and Peyton, I want to ask you all a little bit about your career ambitions, because you mentioned earlier on in this broadcast that you were both recent graduates of the University of Texas at Austin, which is an incredible accomplishment. Congratulations. What are you hoping to do with your careers, and what's next for you both?
So I am currently applying to medical school right now. So that is the goal, is that I'll start medical school next year. You know, people always ask me like what I think I want to do, and I've always gone back and forth, especially through college. But I think through Texas 4000, it's really shown me that I am really passionate about oncology, and so I think that that is something that I'm very interested in, and that I wanna pursue, is some kind of career that's in the cancer community. Because like Riley said, there's so much hope within this community. And I think it is unexpected, but I'm just so happy that I got a chance to experience it. And I think it's something that I definitely want to continue on with.
It's wonderful. Miley, I suspect the same for you, because you talked a little bit about your connection to the cancer community and really wanting that for your career.
Yes. So since I was 6, probably 5 or 6, I have wanted to be a doctor. And then I got to college and had never really given myself freedom to think about other things in my other jobs. I was just super, I'm going to be a doctor. That's what I'm going to do. And I am still pretty sure I want to be a doctor, but I've also just kind of started, I'm giving myself the freedom to think about nursing, think about counseling. I know that I want to be in the cancer world, but I just don't really know in what capacity yet. And so I'm going to work for a few years and get some perspective, and then hopefully decide if I want to do nursing or counseling or medicine. I think that I want to be a doctor. That's just what I've always wanted to do, but I'm very, very type A. And so I've never given myself any sort of like space to think about other things. So that's kind of what I'm working for a few years, and then I'll decide.
Yeah, that's a smart strategy. I know it can feel kind of scary, like leaving college and being like, oh man, there's a whole world ahead of me and I don't know what that looks like exactly. But it's also a powerful place to be too. And I think, Miley, your approach of trying some things out and giving yourself some space to see what you like is a really smart way to go about it.
Thank you.
I think you all have touched on some, volunteer opportunities and connections to Del Med and other organizations that Texas 4000 has ties to. Can you talk a little bit about some of the volunteer experiences that you've had this year and what those have been like in the community?
Yeah, so one of my favorite volunteer events is the work we've done with Be the Match. So in our onboarding semester, I worked with Brenda, who's been dropping a few comments in on this live stream. She's just like an incredible person to work with, and she helped us organize drives on campus to have people register for the bone marrow registry. And I think learning so much about like disparities in access to healthcare, the racial disparities, and like not quite discrimination, but injustices based on income is something that we learned a lot about by volunteering with them. We also had hundreds of people join the registry that semester, which was just like incredible to see that members of the UT community would come out and do that. We had everyone on our team and the 2019 team also join the registry, which was really cool. And I really valued that volunteer activity because it was very, very closely connected to cancer. It allowed us to engage with the community, like talk to other UT students about Texas 4000 and about Be the Match. And we also got to meet Lizzie Tennyson, who, if anyone's met her, knows that she's just like a ray of sunshine. And in her last days, she was still fighting to have people join the registry and advocate for like better access to healthcare for African American, Black, and biracial people, which is a really big deal because there are so few options for them when it comes to finding a match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and much of Texas 4000's work in recent years, in particular with the granting process, has focused on helping underserved communities get access to the programs and the research that they need to conduct and that they need there. So I love that that is a continued focus for this organization. Miley or Peyton, any volunteer opportunities that really stood out for you all?
Just a second what Ashley said at first. I love all of the work we do with that. And I'm so thankful that we've had the opportunity to connect with them. Another one of my favorite volunteer events, this is actually with Miley, and it was on board semester. It was Head for the Cure. It was a 5K, and it was held at the Domain in Austin. And we had to be there at 5 a.m. and it was so cold that day. It was so cold, and we were freezing. And me and Miley, and as well as Gabrielle and Andrea, 2 other riders on the team, we were assigned the task of basically just standing on a corner and cheering people on. And we spent a couple hours doing that, and it is truly just one of my most memorable experiences, because we were all sitting there huddled around each other, shivering, cheering these people on, and the energy that they gave us was really so amazing. And then afterwards, we had the opportunity to sit with everyone. They were kind of giving out awards, but also recognizing why the groups of people there were running that day. And so we got to hear a bunch of stories just about cancer survivors and people that battled cancer. And that was really special to me as well. So that's
awesome. Thanks for sharing. Let's go ahead and check in on your teammates who are hanging out on Zoom with us riding. Hey, y'all.
Hey, guys.
Guys, there's always that laugh. So they wave 10 seconds later.
If you're just joining us on the Facebook Live broadcast this evening, we're chit-chatting with some Ozarks riders as they're getting an indoor cycling workout in this evening. So please post your questions and words of encouragement for the 2020 team, and I will be happy to ask them and pass it along. Oh, I love the dancing going on. That's awesome. So we were actually talking about some of the volunteer opportunities that have really stood out to you all. I know Texas 4000 has so many relationships with pretty major cancer organizations around the country and in Texas for sure. And I've been part of the grant process with Texas 4000 for the last 7 years now. And something that I've noticed popping up the last 5 years more and more is the need for transportation programs to support cancer patients in seeking access to get to and from their appointments, especially in rural areas. That can be a really big challenge. Did you all have any, did you talk to anybody where, this was an issue, and what are you seeing? What are some of the volunteer opportunities with that you've had with cancer patients? What do they need in the community right now?
Yeah, so when you mentioned transportation, something that stood out to me was CareBox. So we've been volunteering with CareBox for a couple of years now, or maybe longer, but essentially that opportunity has us provide this service to transport medical equipment and supplies to cancer patients who cannot go get that for themselves. And so teammates who have cars, or you can borrow a car, will go and pick up supplies and safely deliver them to cancer patients so that they have what they need in the comfort of their own home. I personally have not participated in that yet, but I know that a lot of my teammates who have found it very rewarding, because there was a component where they could learn about specific people and what they need. And because you're directly helping with somebody's treatment.
Yeah, CareBox does wonderful work. That is for sure. How's y'all's workout going, Miley and Peyton?
Good. It's getting a little steamy in here. Yeah, I don't think I'm upstairs. I don't think there's a fan up here, but
oh yeah,
it's good. It kind of, this is what Ozarks would be like. We'd be very humid.
Certainly. What's your journey been like learning to ride a bike and becoming cyclists who are, capable of some long distance, multi-day rides? What's that experience been like? I know most riders who join Texas 4000 don't necessarily have a cycling background. I know I didn't. And when I told my dad that I got into the Texas 4000 team, he politely reminded me that I had a bike that is still hanging in my parents' garage to this day that I've probably put 12 miles on. And that's why I signed up to do something like this, to fight cancer in this way. So what's that experience been like for you all?
Well, I actually didn't expect to love biking so much. I know that's definitely not everyone's experience, but from like the first day that we got on the bike, it just kind of gave me this freedom. I don't know. I love feeling the wind. Oh, it's so fun for me. But one of the things that the last year has given me is, I think, just the space that you have on your bike to just think and process and talk with your teammates is just like a different kind of rest. And I thought that when I came home after a long week of school, that I'd be like just not ready to get on a bike the next morning. But it was really kind of the opposite. It was like I realized that it's not really physical rest that I needed. It was like more emotional rest, and that was what Saturday rides were for me. Just like, okay, get on the bike and you pedal, and that's what you do. And so I've really loved it. I feel thankful that I've loved it, because it also is hard, but it's so fun for me, and I want to do it forever.
Yeah, similar. I guess I didn't have a cycling experience either, as you mentioned, Sarah. And I remember the first time we got on the bike, they had us all lined up, and we were gonna take turns just riding a straight line. We were standing there, and I forgot that my foot was clipped in. So before I even got to take my first pedal, I fell over.
No.
What did I get myself into? And our ride director, Grayson, is sitting there laughing at me. And looking back at it now and just seeing how far as a team we've come, I really am blown away. Because like Miley said, there's just something special about being on the bike. It's just somewhere where I can go and I can think. And if I'm having, just a hard day, just being able to get on the bike and ride just for people or ride for myself, no matter what's going on. We had a teammate recently that lost his mom to cancer. And, it's in that situation, it's kind of you don't really know what you can do. But being able to get on the bike and ride for him and ride for his mom, things like that become really, really special. So that's a big deal for me. So.
Yeah.
I think for me, I did not come from a cycling background, but a lot of my teammates came from some kind of sports background. I kind of suck at sports, and just I'm not an athletic person. I bike with my inhaler in my jersey, and Peyton has done some pretty big hills with me, and watched me really struggle. But biking has become something that, even though I don't enjoy it while I'm on the bike, I'm always thankful coming back into the CPE parking lot when the ride is over, because I feel I've accomplished something. Every Saturday we bike a longer distance and a harder ride and a bigger hill, and while we're out there, I look like this the whole time, where I'm really sad and my eyebrows going like this because I'm angry as well. And every time my car goes by me, I'm like that, because I don't want to share my lane with the cars. When I come back, I feel so strong, and I feel I remember coming back from a 70-mile ride, feeling like I could do it again. I probably could not do it again, but it's a feeling of accomplishment that nothing else in my life gives me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's like really made me like myself more for being able to do it and for like having the willpower to pedal even when like my whole body hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for sharing. There, what I love about this group tonight is that, at least on this Facebook Live broadcast together, we're all women, and cycling is actually, there's a pretty high barrier to entry because it's an expensive sport, but it's also a male-dominated sport. So I really love meeting more women cyclists, and it makes me happy that you all love biking so much that you want to continue doing it. I know that I still ride my Texas 4000 bike. I just got it cleaned last week at Mellow Johnny's. Rides like a dream right now. But I also last week replaced my bar tape for the first time since the ride, and it was, I cringed doing that. Yeah, it was hard. So now I have new bar tape, and it made me a little sad.
I got my bar tape in this like bright blue color because when you reach the top of the hill, all you can see is like the sky in front of you. Like you don't see the earth underneath. And just like my handlebars blending in with the sky at the top of a hill, like makes me know like this is where I'm supposed to be. And going up a hill, like seeing that blue handlebar tape in front of me motivates me to like reach the top of the hill and see the like open sky. So I really like that I changed it to that color.
I love that so much.
That's deep.
Yeah, it is deep. Hey, and Ozarks. Thanks, Miles, for that shout
Yeah. Hey, Miles is on Rockies, but he's saying Ozarks. I love it.
But I converted him.
Hey, I'm a Rockies lady, and I think I'm an Ozarks convert after tonight as well. So
yes.
Let's go ahead and check in on your teammates on Zoom since we're talking about cycling and see how they're doing with their workouts. Looking strong, guys.
Dang, Yash is still going at it.
Have any of y'all done any really big climbs or really big rides with these three fellas that you can share with us?
Us?
Yeah, like
I've never ridden with my ride director.
Really, Ashka?
Yeah, I don't think I've ridden with Peyton, and I rode with Yash like once last year, but I haven't ridden with Miley, Grayson, or the other Grayson.
Yeah.
We haven't ridden together?
No, we haven't, Miley, and it makes me sad every day.
That's insane. We gotta do that.
We're gonna have to fix that after social distancing is behind us.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had any big crimes or anything with anyone on the Zoom, but I think with Ashka and Miley both, we've had some pretty good rides, some really challenging rides.
Peyton, are you kidding? That hill on Lime Creek? That was a big hill.
That one, you got up that hill, and it felt so good when you did.
I think I like almost cried 3 times trying to make it up that hill.
But you made it to the top. I don't know who was more excited. Like, I don't know if it was you or me.
Because you had to go really slowly with me up that hill.
But we got up there together. I think that's something though that like Texas 4000 has really taught me is that I guess before, I like gymnastics, which is like an individual sport and stuff, but like Texas 4000 has really taught me that like I get more satisfaction about doing it with my team. I guess, going up a hill and making a hill by myself is fine, but like getting to go up it and have my entire like ride group make it up the hill together, I think that's just so much better.
Yeah.
Peyton is such a good ride lead. She's she's the best. She's the best. She's so encouraging and no one ever gets left behind and she's always just looking back to make sure everyone's good. She's so awesome. We had some tough rides together, but you handled everything so well.
It's interesting that you say that she's a really great ride lead, and it makes me wonder, like, what makes somebody a good ride lead in Texas 4000?
Sorry, I can plug in my laptop.
I think that it's, if I were to think of like 2 words, it would be humility and intuition, which that sounds like it's like this big thing to be a good ride lead, and that we have. I mean, all of our ride leads are so amazing, but Peyton specifically just is so intuitive of the people around her. I mean, her ride group, she's just always like knows exactly what's going on. And then also she's just humble, like in admitting when she's struggling also, you know? And she's like, so yeah, she's just so in it with you. And so that I think is what I admire so much about the way she leads rides.
Yeah,
For me, sorry.
No, please go ahead.
For me, I think the words that come to mind are safety and compassion. And I think Peyton really does embody that as a ride lead because on the ride that I did with Peyton, we were really nervous because it was like the longest distance we've done, which like every Saturday ride is, but we were also on some like slightly busier roads. And I think a lot of us were really worked up because we're concerned about like cars getting too close to us, which like sometimes they do. And Peyton just stayed so calm. There was like a car that came like really close to me, and I was like on my bike like this, and Peyton's like, relax, I'm pedaling. And she also like makes calls really far in advance, like lets us know when we're gonna be turning, if we're gonna be stopping soon, so that we can be prepared and like not get into any like dangerous situation. And I talk about compassion. I think like as somebody who struggles on the bike a lot, I think it was really meaningful to me that Peyton, even though she was a ride lead and like should like sometimes ride leads want to stay in the front, Peyton like told somebody else the directions and she stayed in the back with me and like rode right beside me, and I was like complaining and crying and like, I can't do this, I'm gonna walk the hill, and she's like, no you're not, you're gonna bike it and I'm gonna bike it with you. And like that made a big difference to me because that kind of motivation and like knowing that I'm allowed to struggle and that she's not gonna like, not that anybody would abandon me, but that like she's gonna be right beside me. That's something I love seeing in a ride lead.
Love that.
Love
Oh,
you, Tony.
Oh,
thanks.
Love you, Tony.
I'm proud of these ladies too.
Love you, Sia.
Thanks,
Sia
Sia.
Vitello, Ozarks lady.
Sia's a warrior.
Yeah, Peyton is the best. Something that this made me think of is how when I like after one semester in Texas 4000, I just realized that it's the whole entire organization is full of like the hidden gems of UT. I mean, so there's so many amazing people at UT that aren't in Texas 4000, but I feel like Texas 4000 just has so many people from around campus, and they're all like the people that you wouldn't have known, but you're so thankful to know. It's just full of hidden gems.
Yeah, I'm gonna +1 that. And Peyton, I have to say, lady, you sound like an excellent leader. Just based on the qualities you exhibit. Are you the assistant ride director?
No, that's Catherine, who is an amazing leader.
Gotcha.
I look up to her, and she does so much for this route. But also, like, Oscar and Miley are not giving themselves enough credit. Like, these rides with them specifically, like, no matter how challenging they were, like, these were some of my favorite rides. Like, something about pulling into CPE after that, and, like, knowing that, like, we had, like, accomplished those rides, no matter how upset some cars got, or any kind of technical difficulties on the bike, like, we got into CPE, and Miley is just the happiest person on the bike. Like, it really is. Like, I have never seen Miley. Like, I will be there struggling head down, and Miley's just sitting there smiling and go.
Not always.
I once, when I was like just getting to know Miley, there was this day like before the sun had risen. It was must have been like 6 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. We were like in CPE. It was like really cold and dark, and Miley with like her like face lit up, like walked up to me, was like, "Hi, Ashka," and I literally felt like the sun rose. Like it was like warm and bright and friendly, and it was just Miley's presence.
Aww.
My teammates hype me up so much. I think that's such a fun part of Texas 4000 is how much we hype each other up.
Yeah, I love that part too. So Peyton, you are the travel chair for Ozarks.
Yes.
Okay, I'm with you now. There are actually a ton of leadership roles in the organization. I know I was the ride director for my route. There's ride directors, assistant ride directors, travel chairs, committee chairs of all types. Pretty much everybody plays a really important role and has an opportunity to be a leader throughout the 18-month preparation and on the summer ride. And we just have, a little under 15 minutes left, and I'd really love to learn from all of you what's a leadership skill you feel like you've really excelled or had an opportunity to build upon, and what's a leadership weakness that you feel like you've been kind of stretched to explore and work on as well. That's a tough question. I'm going to let one of you
start because I've had like a weird experience with leadership on this team. I think one of the skills that I have like realized I perhaps need to work on is my like energy level and the way that I express my enthusiasm. Like Peyton can tell you, sometimes I get really excited about something, and Simon Burke actually made a meme about this, about like the fact that I'm like overly enthusiastic about something. It's one of my favorite memes, like making fun of me. But I think like learning how to appropriately express like the cool things that I want us to do without coming across as like overly aggressive about it, I guess. It's something like I've become aware of and I'm like working on. One of the leadership skills I think I've like really learned to develop being in Texas 4000 is my communication skills. Like whether it be learning how to write a convincing email to get donations for business development. Like for example, this year we actually got all of the girls' Lena cups. They're like reusable menstrual cups which are environmentally friendly. And we actually got like a training program set up. This was all right before quarantine began, but that's like a project I worked on. Or whether it be like working on social communication skills and like learning how to address conflict with teammates, like on and off the bike, in like a productive, constructive way that doesn't make anyone feel bad. That's something that like I really value that T4K gave me the space to do that, because I guess I didn't realize like how high tensions can be when you're like sweaty on a bike and it's 100 degrees and everyone's a little bit cranky, and like managing your own feelings and expressing yourself to others has been a challenge. And I'm like really grateful that we are a leadership development org and that we are given like a safe space to work on these skills.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing. I know that stuff, it's not easy to admit a weakness on a live Facebook broadcast, so thank you. Miley or Peyton, what about you?
Yeah, Oscar kind of touched on communication. I think that's something that I've learned a lot from, and I've definitely struggled with as well, but I've definitely seen growth. And it's really just learning to adapt, I guess, my communication to different situations. So I've really learned that I use different communication styles based on what I'm doing. Before we go on rides, we kind of we check in with each other, and it's just about seeing what each other, everyone needs on the bike. And, that was a big thing. Like, that was a big learning curve, because I know my way that I like to be motivated, but that's not necessarily the same way that all our teammates like to be motivated. And so I think that was a big learning curve, is realizing that not everyone wants to be, cheered on and yelled at and everything. So I'm really thankful that I got to grow in that. And also just communication, like sending emails out to hosts and stuff. That's something that like I didn't realize I was really bad at. Started doing, and I've definitely seen growth in that. And I don't take an hour to compose an email anymore. So that's been a big thing too. I think something that like I have noticed that I struggle with still is just kind of learning to take criticism and keep it constructive and learn where I can grow from that criticism. I have seen a little growth, but I think I can definitely continue with that because, not like there's always room to grow in everything we do. And when people take the time to share their thoughts, just learning to take that and turn that into something good, definitely still working on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Miley, what about you?
There are so many things. There are so many things. I grew so much. The first thing that comes to mind is that I was on a committee, but I wasn't on like the executive leadership team. And I have held leadership positions in so many other things I'm involved in, but I kind of realized that there's so much value in like behind the scenes leadership as well. And you don't actually have to be like on the front lines to also be like serving your team. Mm-hmm. And so that was a really cool thing I learned of just whatever position you hold, you are a leader no matter what. You have the position and opportunity to change things. And then also you have like, it is your responsibility to care for and support the people that are leading your team, like kind of on the front lines. So I think that was a really cool thing I learned, is that it's like, you always have a responsibility to be a leader, whether you have title or not. And you also have the responsibility to support the leaders that do have the title and like encourage them and celebrate them. And that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, there are many types of leadership in life, and I feel like you three touched on a lot of those. And there are many skills, involved in being a leader. And I think for me, Texas 4000's leadership development program was one of the most transformative experiences of my life. I don't think I would be a hiring manager today if it really wasn't for the experience learning how to be a leader in this program. So I can tell you three that, and your whole team, that you're getting sort of real life experience in these skills that you would definitely use in your career after this. And it's only going to set you up for success. Thanks for the shout out, Trey, to Miley. We just have a few minutes left. Let's pop back over to the Zoom and say good night to the rest of your teammates who are riding with us.
Hey guys.
Got some no hands action over there. I love that.
And they're still booking it.
Yeah. Somebody's getting some good workouts in. That's awesome for a Friday night.
Oh my goodness.
Well, in these last few minutes, I want to ask you all what you've got planned for this weekend. What are you up to with Texas 4000? Are you taking a chill pill for yourselves? Tell me what you're looking forward to.
Well, I think we're all going to be riding tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yes. Our programs team is doing a really great program beginning at 12 p.m. I think that's right. Right, Ashka? Would you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 12 p.m. So we're going to be riding then and then in the evening as well, too. So I'm really excited for that. I really like the back-to-back, like the Friday night and then the Saturday. I like those rides because it makes me feel productive on the weekend.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. And then I personally am gonna wrap the weekend up with a practice MCAT. So that will be my son is taking a practice test. But
so restful.
Sounds productive. What about you, Miley?
Yeah, I'm really excited for our event and ride tomorrow. I'm really, really excited for that. And then I don't really know. Probably just hang out with my roommates. We'll see. I don't have really many plans, which I feel like I haven't had since graduation. So this is fun. I'm really excited to have a free weekend.
Got to take advantage of those moments.
Yes.
Ashka, you're riding too tomorrow. Anything else planned for your weekend?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to ride just because of an injury, but I'm going to try to get on my trainer tomorrow since like there's no issue with having to get picked up or sagged out. I can try and make some progress. And in the meantime, I'm going to be working on some like advocacy related material for some companies I'm trying to apply for that work in the healthcare policy space and try and like bridge gaps in like social determinants of health and discrepancies there. So yeah, I'm really excited to like engage with other similar health communities this weekend and continue with joining the live streams.
That is awesome.
What are you up to, Sarah?
I think I'm probably going to go on a ride tomorrow morning as well. The weather looks absolutely beautiful here in Austin. And yeah, not too many more summer mornings that are going to look like this. So I definitely take advantage of it. And I'm building a butterfly garden in my backyard. So I'm going to plant some stuff this weekend.
No way.
Yeah, I'm fully into house renovation mode in the stay at home period.
Yes, quarantine hobbies. I want to do these forever. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It'll be nice to have a little break this weekend for sure. And I'm glad that you all are going to get some rest time in between your rides and your and these daily live broadcasts as well. We're about at time for this evening, and I know that you guys are finishing up an hour-long workout. Way to go. Remember, for everyone joining us on our live broadcast on Facebook, you can make a ride dedication at any time to texas4000.org. We hope that you'll join us back here tomorrow night, and you can meet more riders for ride dedications and cycling, which starts at 8 p.m. And you can donate to Texas 4000, purchase Texas 4000 2020 team cycling jerseys and other merchandise, all to help support the fight against cancer at texas4000.org at any time. We want to thank again our presenting sponsor, Abbott, and all of our sponsors of the 2020 Summer Ride. Thanks everybody who's joined us tonight on Facebook, and especially thanks to you three ladies for spending the last 90 minutes with me. I had a great time with you all tonight. And I'm very inspired by the work that you're doing in the fight against cancer and everything that the 2020 team has done for each other and for the organization this summer. I really appreciate all of you.
Thank you so much. You are so wonderful. This was so enjoyable.
Lots of love for you three and your whole team and Ozarks generally. I'm an Ozarks convert.
Yeah. Love to hear that.
I hope you'll have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah.